but one of the first things that came up was sleep. Really bad at going to sleep on time and sleeping for a decent amount of time, and just really poor sleep hygiene. And turns out I had a really bad relationship with sleep, and had a lot of kind of feelings about it that I hadn't really realized. All I knew was I never go to bed on time and I'm always exhausted. And actually kind of turned out that I really resented having to sleep. Like I hated having to fulfill my basic needs. And so I just kind of wasn't. So that was a starting point. And then the other major thing was food, which before we even started working together, it was such a big hurdle for me that I said, like, I don't even know if there's any point. Like, I don't know if there's anything you can do, if you can even work with this, because my diet is so limited and my issues are so kind of like deep-seated that I've just never even really tried to do anything with them, because I figured there was no point. So that was a major one, was just with the kind of neurodivergence and the sensory issues and things, like there's a tiny range of things that I could eat and they're all terrible. So it's like, you're like, if I tell you what, I'm embarrassed to tell you what I eat, because it's just awful and I can't immediately do anything about it. So, if you're just gonna be like, oh, just eat all of these things, I'm like, I can't do any of that. And so I half expected you to say no, like I can't do anything with this. And it was pleasantly surprising when we were like, actually, we can start where you are, even though where I was what I've described, and there was no like judgment or like, oh my God, I can't believe you're living like that, or any of these kind of messages I've had from a lot of other people in my life, which was very just made it feel a lot safer to actually have those kind of conversations around food, because that's one of the reasons I've never really got into it, because everyone's just gonna be like, oh my God, really? Like, and I'll just sit there feeling like crap, like, yeah. So the first thing that kind of came up was actually similar to sleep. I had a really bad relationship with food because of all of these really negative like exchanges I'd had with other people. So every time I would make myself food and I would eat food, I would be judging myself. And so when I'm scared of other people judging me, I'm actually just projecting my own stuff, where I'm like, oh my God, this again. Like this is what we're going to just eat every day until we die. Like, this is so lame and so boring, and like it's really bad for you, and just everything you're eating is crap. And so it's always this real heavy, really negative feeling. And so similar to sleep, I'd kind of resent the fact that I had to eat. I was one of those people where like, if I could just like take a pill and get all the nutrition I needed from that and never had to eat ever again, that would be like an amazing thing. That's kind of where I was at with it. And so I've got like ARFID, which I didn't realize was a thing. It's a less well-known eating disorder where you're just like, it's not just kind of being fussy, it's like I physically cannot make myself eat foods that are outside of my tiny group of safe foods. Like, I will literally starve to death before I will put something that feels unsafe into my mouth, because it's like a kind of like a phobia of food. Like, it's that kind of pathological aversion kind of thing, which is why I didn't think I could do anything with it. So it's very severe and like lifelong. And so I just like basically just lived on the same handful of like tiny, like, just really processed, really terrible carbs. And that was just it. That was all I would eat. No fruit, no veg. So we came to food after we'd kind of worked on some other stuff. And rather than immediately throwing a load of things at me that I would obviously not be able to eat, the focus was more on finding ways that we can make like the stuff that I already can eat healthier, and like find variations on those so that I could get other things into my diet without kind of dealing with all of these sensory issues, which I think are going to take longer to unpick, basically. And just like really simple things, like I eat a lot of pasta and I'll buy jars of pasta sauce and it's full of all kinds of God knows what. And it's just like, just get some pistachio and just like cut up some veg, cook it, like make your own sauce kind of thing. And then all of a sudden I'm getting actual veg into my diet for the first time in God knows how long, and immediately went off the jars, the store-bought stuff. Like, as soon as I made it the first time, like I still got so many jars of it at home, I'm gonna have to throw them out, I think, or like donate them or something. But I made some with like the sauce I'd been eating for years, and I was like, oh, this tastes horrid actually. So I was like, well, I guess I'm stuck with this now. So now it's like it's a regular thing, and it probably sounds really small to a lot of people, but for me, it's like a huge change, because I've kind of gone from something that I've always had to something that I'm kind of making myself, and I can like put little bits of different stuff in it. And because it's just in a sauce, like, like I can't like separate it in my mouth. It's just, so I'm like, yeah, like putting different things into sauces and like making soups and stuff with different vegetables. And I get vegetables into my diet on a daily basis now, when I just didn't have that at all beforehand. And so like I still have a lot further that I would like to go with it, but just that feels like a really significant change to like start with, and gives me a bit of confidence that I'm not just stuck, which is how I felt beforehand. Getting veg into my diet on like literally a daily basis is every day. It's not just like kind of a one-off thing. It's kind of consistently changed how I eat, and give me a bit of confidence to kind of explore like things that I've never eaten some of the vegetables that I'm eating like in any form at all, and I'm kind of like experimenting, like putting different things together in like soups and things like that, and making smoothies with fruit as well. And I think really just improving my relationship to both sleep and to food has improved my relationship to myself. And we've kind of talked more recently about obviously like kind of like boundaries, and kind of like saying yes to the things that I want to do, and actually saying no when it's not like an enthusiastic yes, and things like that. And I feel like all of it's connected, because I think I had really poor boundaries and just said yes to everything because I didn't value myself. And so if somebody else wanted me to do something, that was more important than whatever I wanted or needed even. So I would just sacrifice myself for the sake of other people because I just put them above me all the time. Whereas now I'm like, actually, like I'm important, and my sleep is important, and my nutrition is important. So therefore, like my time is also important, and what I want to do with it matters. And like, even if I could do something for somebody else, actually, like if I'm already busy, or even if I'm not, if I'm just, I need some downtime, like that matters as much as somebody else wanting me to do something else. And downtime is something that I've never really had. I'm chronically busy because the hyperactivity is strong, and I like the constant stream of dopamine, and like I like being busy, and I like doing lots of things, but I want them all to be things that I've chosen and that I feel good about doing, rather than something that maybe I agreed to do at one point, but now I'm just like, oh, like, and it's just like dread. Yeah. Like most of the things that I do now, like I'm really enthusiastic about, and there are things that I'm less so, but I'm kind of pulling back from them. So I'm kind of like, yeah, so it feels like it's quite a far-reaching thing. And we spoke as well about how like changing one thing doesn't tend to just change that thing in isolation, because it's all kind of linked. It's been, like I said, like a really safe and validating space, and there's been a lot of room for me to kind of direct where I wanted things to go. Like it was never overly prescriptive with you like telling me what to do. It was like working out where the issues were, like kind of sleep and food and that kind of thing. And it's always a very like collaborative process of working out like what exactly do you want to change about the situation, and like what ideas do you have for how that might work, and then going away and trying things and coming back and be like, I completely failed and still didn't sleep on time at all this week. And it's like, okay, so that hasn't worked. Like, why is that? And kind of like looking at that and like working it out and refining it. And I like that it's not like a kind of cookie cutter kind of like one size fits all kind of thing, because I've seen so much like stuff online of like people banging on about like you should get up at like 4 or 5 in the morning and go to the gym and start your day really early and do all these things. And I'm like, I would be so tired and miserable because I hate mornings. I hate them. I can't, like, my brain wakes up in the evening, and that's like my kind of big brain hours, and that's just how I'm wired, I think. And so it's like learning to work with the way that you're naturally built instead of fighting against those things. And yeah, so like what, like you kind of said with the food, like start from where you are instead of being like, well, we're going to start over here and you're not there yet, and we're just going to like berate you for being as far back as you are, which is how a lot of other things have kind of felt. And even and I would always kind of be like, I've done this, and then I would kind of be like, oh, but it's a really minor thing, and I'm like kind of like downplaying it because that's what I kind of expect other people to. And you actually like celebrate the things that I achieved and saw how big they were for me, even if they would seem small to somebody else. Like you kind of understood the starting point that I was at and how big of a leap that was for me personally. And it felt really nice to have that seen and validated, because I kind of tried to tell some other people. I was like really excited. It's like, look, I'm eating veg. And they were like, okay, like, so does everyone else. I'm like, but I didn't, so yeah, it was just nice to have that seen. and that kind of is encouraging and makes me want to keep like going and keep trying to do things. And like, I bought something the other day and I don't even know what it is, but I'm going to put it in a soup and see what happens. So, and like that's like something that would have been absolutely unthinkable, you know. I was like, I don't even know what that is, but it looks like it might be fun in a soup. So I'll do that and report back.